We're jumping into this How I Lead interview with Daniel Brown from Searcy, Arkansas. How are you, Daniel?
Doing good, Kurt. How are you doing?
Good. I'm excited to jump into this conversation. Now, where is Searcy?
So we are what is called the heart of Arkansas. If you're looking at Arkansas, we're just above the middle point in the kind of the eastern corner, about 45 minutes northwest of northeast of Little Rock.
Nice. So is the Bentonville temple going to be your temple, or?
It's not. We are in the Memphis Temple District. We're about 2 hours from Memphis and about 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Bentonville.
Oh, wow. So it sounds like they need a Searcy temple, huh?
We'll take one for sure.
Nice. Well, that's great. And and you're the bishop there. You've been the bishop for about 2.5 years. Maybe just give us the lay of the land there as far as the church is concerned, what it's like being a member in Searcy.
So I'll kind of start beginning if you don't mind. My grandpa moved here from Arizona back in 1960. There's 12 members in a branch here in Arkansas,
Wow.
the Searcy area. Since then, it's grown. We have what was the area of that little branch is now 4 wards. We have about 150 average attendance on Sunday. It's a very Protestant area down here. We have a lot of friends from the Church of Christ. Searcy is kind of known as a Church of Christ town. There's a Harding University here, which is the Church of Christ school. And they've done a lot of good things in the past to help keep Searcy a clean town. We're what you call a dry county. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but there's no alcohol sold in Searcy or in White County. So Church of Christ has done a lot of good things here to keep Searcy a good, clean area. Church is growing. So we're excited about working with those around us to try to encourage everybody towards Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're born and raised in the faith then, and pretty traditional upbringing?
I was. My dad's a convert to the church. He was raised here in Arkansas and came in contact with the church when he met my mom when they were dating. And he joined the church, just a few months before he left for Vietnam. And so that's quite the story that he was drafted and went to Vietnam not long after he got baptized and was able to remain active through that and went on to be a great leader here in the church in the South.
Wow, that's awesome. So what do you remember? Is there a story behind you getting called as bishop?
Yeah, I thought I served in a bishopric, and then it was time to call a new bishop, and so they called a new bishop, so I thought I was out of it and got called back into the bishopric with him. That was fine, and then not quite a year after he was called, he decided he needed to move, and so then I was called as bishop here in the Searcy Ward.
So now, for those that are just listening to audio, you have a big, beautiful beard, and is that just been a lifelong thing, and they let you keep it?
They do, yeah. I was in a training meeting right after I was called as bishop, and my uncle's a member of the stake presidency, and he's trying to get on to me really hard about it. And I looked at the stake president. I said, "President, I'll do what you want me to do." And he lifted his hands like this, and he said, "I'm not going to say anything about it." So
Nice.
we're a member of the bearded bishops.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something we can normalize a little bit more. And so it's typically left up to the stake president how he wants to do it. There's no church policy or anything. So, and I happen to have a beard today as well. So
I noticed that.
it's
Yeah,
beard day at Leading Saints. So.
That is usually the first question, though, when we have some students here that are from out west that come to Harding for pharmacy school and PA school and stuff. And their parents, when they come, that's the first question they always ask me. They let you be a bishop with a beard?
Nice. Well, keep wearing it loud and proud, my friend. So,
yeah.
So tell me a little bit, just walking into this role as bishop, what do you remember? What was harder than you expected, or was there a unique approach you took right off the bat? What comes to mind?
So it was a lot harder than I expected. Even being in the previous 2 bishoprics, I didn't fully understand what being a bishop encompasses and all the time and work that goes into that, because there's a lot of things that bishops do that counselors don't know about. just things. And we were coming back from COVID when I was called as the bishop. We had just now started social distance meeting when they called me as bishop. And so the hardest part was trying to get people out of their I've gotten comfortable sitting at home on Sundays and doing that deal and getting them back to physical activity in the church. And then our ministering took a big hit during COVID. People kind of saw the excuse of social distancing and not being able to go to people's houses. And so we've really focused on ministering.
Yeah. And was there like it just keeping it top of mind for the ward, or how, when you say focus on ministering, what did that look like?
Yeah. So, starting basically from ground one, they just changed from home teaching to ministering. And I think Elder Gong gave a great talk this past conference on ministering and about how if we think ministering is less than home teaching, we're missing the mark, and that ministering is a higher and holier calling. And so we've really been trying to focus on the love of Christ and trying to get everybody to feel that in their life through ministering.
Nice. So we got to give a shout out to Grace Lewis. She's the one that recommended your name for the How I Lead episode here. And is she in your ward, or how do you know Grace?
No, she's actually my first cousin. And she's just over, she's over the JustServe for the stake for a long time. And so I use her and her husband as a huge asset to me when I go in to meet with people about JustServe. I'll try to ask one of them to come along with me. I'm not the most computer literate guy in the world. And so they do help me out a lot with that JustServe.
Yeah. Now, take us on the journey with what your ward's done with JustServe. I think, I don't know, it just varies from place to place as far as how local wards and stakes use JustServe. It's a remarkable tool, and the church has invested a lot of money into making it remarkable. But sometimes, there's just so many things to worry about, or programs, or efforts, or youth programs, or whatever it is. And so sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle. So how has your ward leveraged the JustServe in your area?
Yeah, that word program in the church has kind of become a buzzword, right? We don't like programs. But when they introduced JustServe here, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I kind of had the same feeling. I was like, we're serving already. Why does the church want us to go on this website and basically document our service stuff? Why can't we just do it, without the left hand knowing what the right hand's doing type deal? Until I fully understood what JustServe is and what it could be, I struggled with it a lot. And so I'm just trying to help people understand that JustServe isn't the church trying to document service hours and, look at us, how good we are. It's an outreach tool for us, especially here in the South, to where we have a bunch of Christian people. I mean, 95% of the people here believe in Christ. And so we try to use it as an outreach tool to where we can share the love of Christ with people of any faith, of any denomination. And so we try to use it as that. I'm a member of what's called the Searcy Ministerial Alliance, just a group of ministers from here in town from different denominations that meet once a month and just try to make sure that the people of Searcy are taken care of. And I presented JustServe to them in one of our meetings. And of course, their first question, usually the first question with anybody outside of our faith, is, well, what kind of ministering emails will I get when I sign up for this thing? You guys going to proselyte us pretty hard when we sign up for JustServe? And, generally we tell them that we don't even like people to know that the church is the one behind JustServe, because it's just a database for service opportunities and people looking for service. And so that's what we try to use it as. We assure them they won't receive any proselyting emails, any emails of any kind, only what they ask for in service opportunities. So we try to use that as an outreach tool, huge outreach tool here in Searcy. We met with the mayor. He was looking for a website that could host service opportunities and try to match up volunteer hours. So we've met with the mayor. We've met with Searcy Ministerial Alliance. We've met with schools. I've got an appointment to meet with a school here in our local area about it, because they have beta clubs and things like that need service hours. And so I'm excited about going and meeting with them and just trying to to share the love of Christ through service. As a bishop, when I meet with people and they're struggling with things in life, that's usually the first thing I'll ask them is, when is the last time you gave Christ-like service? Because when we don't feel the love of Christ in our life, there's usually a quick fix for that. And that's by trying to share that Christ-like love with someone else. We usually feel it greater in our life.
Yeah. And so you talked about, you met with some other, did you say they're local religious leaders or?
Yeah, so we have a Searcy Ministerial Alliance is what it's called.
Oh, cool.
I'm the first bishop to get invited to it, and it's not because I'm better than anybody else or better than any other bishops. I just happened to run into the downtown Church of Christ minister, Kent Job, at a meeting one time in the community and introduced myself to him. And he said, well, you need to join our Searcy Ministerial Alliance here in town. And sent me an email and let me join. And it's been a really great experience working with those brothers. I'm trying to help, Searcy stay focused on Christ and share the love of Christ with all of them.
Yeah. So what was the tipping point for them to allow you in?
They've all been welcoming since I've been there. I've been to about, 7 meetings now for about 7 months. And this past meeting was the first time that I met one person that kind of crab walked a little bit when I shook her hand and told her who I was and what calling I had. But they've been really welcoming and nice to me. It's been a really good experience.
Nice. So they just gave you the stage for one of those meetings to talk about JustServe and how they could maybe use that tool?
Yeah. I just asked them, they try to allot time for somebody to come in. Like we've had people come in from some political action groups, that are trying to keep good Christian values in politics and bills that are passed and stuff. They'll come in and talk to us about how we can help support those bills and stuff. And then, so I just asked, we have a president of the group, and I just asked him if I could have one meeting for about 45 minutes to talk about JustServe, a great opportunity we have. And he was happy to oblige. And me and my Relief Society president, and then our ward communication specialist went and talked with them. And actually Grace Lewis came with us on that one, I think. So it was a good experience.
Wow. And so once you got them past their concerns with, us collecting data or targeting them for proselytizing or whatever, then were they pretty open to using JustServe then?
They are. We're still working with them on it and trying to get them. See, in one of those meetings, we had the president of Harding come and talk to us, Harding University. And like I said, it's a Church of Christ university. And he was a very nice man. His name escapes me right now. But he talked about, in his role as the leader or the president of Harding University, what he sees is a lot of young people, when he asks them what they want to do after graduation, it's usually a nonprofit organization or something they want to start, some kind of nonprofit, because they want to feel like they're serving, and doing something worthwhile. And he talked to us about how the young people in the world today are leaving religion just in general, not just our church, but at every church in record numbers. He says he goes down here in the South, they'll have Senior Sunday, where you'll have a church meeting dedicated just to the seniors that are graduating and have them come up and bear testimony or receive a award or something like that. And he says he attends those meetings, he loves them, but it's sad to know that for, 8 out of 10 of those kids that walk across that stage on Senior Sunday, it's going to be the last time they come to church. That's just how fast the young single adults are leaving religion. And so he talked about how we need to get them involved and get them to feel a purpose in life and part of a greater movement. And so when he talked about that, I thought, man, JustServe is the greatest opportunity they have to get hooked up, with service opportunities here in the community.
Yeah.
So we tried to push it, and we're trying to push it. We're trying to get people just to, I listened to one of your podcasts a few months back, the sister from Boise, Idaho. I can't remember her name right now. It escapes me. She talked about, you got to make sure you have the service opportunities there first, because if not, then it's kind of the chicken and the egg type deal, right? We have a bunch of people that we can sign up for service opportunities, but if we don't have the volunteers coming, they're going to quit posting service opportunities. And so you feel like you're constantly running around trying to work with organizations to post service opportunities, get signed up on the website, and then also trying to run around and find volunteers that are going to help volunteer for those, so they feel like they're getting their benefit out of the JustServe website.
Yeah. So have you seen an increase of postings of service opportunities in your local area since you've been?
We've met with New International Ministries, does a food uh, distribution every week. We've taken our youth over there through the JustServe website and served on a couple of Wednesday nights, just putting food baskets together. They serve about 300 food baskets a week to people here in White County. And then we have 100 families. We went in and met with them. 100 Families of White County is just an organization that I love to work with because they feel the same way about assistance that we do. They love to ask people to do things. So if you come to 100 families and need help with legal problems or something like that, they're going to help you with them. They're going to ask you to go through classes. They're going to ask you to, and they're going to help you fulfill any court requirements that you have and things like that. And so we actually met with them about JustServe, but also met with them about the self-reliance program that we offer and the classes that we could help them with that, because they ask people to go to budgeting classes. They ask people to go to bettering your education classes, which are all things that line up with the self-reliance program. And so we're trying to work hand in hand with them with that.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
we've gotten a pretty good response from nonprofits here in Searcy area that are looking for volunteers to sign up.
Wow. And I would imagine you just see this unifying effort amongst the community there, right?
It is. It's a great unifying effort. We can work, like I say, it's Christian around here. And so people love Jesus Christ. They love to serve people. And so we're just trying to give them an avenue to where they can get matched up with those service opportunities. And we're in the beginning stages. By no means are we knocking it out of the water and having these huge success stories, but we're in the beginning stages, and you can see it start to grow and build. And as we keep working with it, it'll keep getting better and better.
Yeah, I bet. So tell me about, like, in the context of your ward, is there anything you do or your ward does specifically to keep JustServe top of mind for ward members?
So we actually had Paul Lewis, Grace Lewis's husband, come in our fifth Sunday meeting back in, when was it, April? We had fifth Sunday. He came in and did a training for us on JustServe and got members to sign up. And then going back to the podcast you have with the sister from Boise, I think one of the best ideas I heard about JustServe she gave was, if you're a ministering brother and sister, sign up to do a JustServe service project and invite one of your ministering families to go with you. There's no better way to minister to somebody than both of you getting together and going serving somebody else. And I thought that was a great idea. And so we're trying to encourage that. And that's what we did last night. We went over to New International Horizons with about 10 people that were just from people in our ward, some new converts, recent converts, and went over and served. And last night, we had these huge Ziploc bags, and he has this whole bulk cornflakes. Probably 7 foot tall, this bag of cornflakes. And we're scooping cornflakes and put them in Ziploc bags, so we can distribute them on Friday. So it was just an awesome experience getting to serve people.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love hearing you articulate this because, man, this is just such at the core of our mission at Leading Saints. The fact that this ward in Arkansas hears an interview of somebody in Boise, Idaho, and inspires them to, build the kingdom in a more effective way, through JustServe or whatever it is. That's just that best payday you can give me there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I've listened to a couple of them. I think you had Elder Lindsey Robbins on too and talked a little bit. I try to grasp ideas from everywhere. President Nelson said, good inspiration comes from good information. So,
yeah, love it. So anything else about your approach with JustServe, how you use it in your ward or elsewhere, or any detail we've missed?
I don't think so. I think, like I say, we're still in beginning stages. I wish I was as good at it as Sister Lewis thinks I am at getting it out there, but we're going to keep working at it and keep trying, because the easiest way to feel the love of Christ in our life is by serving his sons and daughters. And when we can serve his sons and daughters and we can see them like he sees them, that's the best way for us to feel the love of Christ in our life.
Yeah. Love it. Well, anything else with your approach with, you mentioned as far as your you try and just stay focused on Christ-like love and service? Obviously, JustServe plays into that. Any other ways that you do that as a bishop in your calling?
Yeah, I try in every way. Everything I do, I try to do that. We have great missionary opportunities down here. People out west kind of pass out when we tell them we have two sets of missionaries here in our ward. We have a set of sisters and a set of elders. When usually out west, you guys have one set of missionaries for 6 or 7 wards, maybe 10 or 12 wards. But we have great missionary opportunity down here in Searcy, Arkansas, and so we try to take advantage of that in everything we do. And there's some people in some humble circumstances around here, and so it really works. I'll never forget when my dad taught me. He was just called into a bishopric for the first time with Bishop Turnbull in Russellville, Arkansas. And Dad would come out of back then third hour meetings, and he said every Sunday it seemed like the same people were waiting outside the bishop's office to talk to the bishop. And he said, so I feeling pretty full of myself, and so I went to Bishop Turnbull and was going to counsel him a little bit. And I said, Bishop, look, if you'll just be honest with these people and run them down the road, you won't have to deal with this stuff Sunday after Sunday. And he said, Bishop Turnbull put his arm around my dad and he said, Brother Brown, not everybody's as easy to love as Brother Brown is. So Heavenly Father is sending these people here to teach me how to love them like he loves them. And so I try to just go about that, in my leadership from that perspective from the beginning. There's going to be people here that Heavenly Father send to me that are trying to teach me how to love as he loves. And so I try to take every advantage of that I can in the calling that I have.
I love that. It's inspiring. What about there's a lot of questions with just how wards are handling the youth dynamics, especially in the recent years, more of a focus on the bishopric handling that. So what comes to mind as far as how you approach that?
So, yeah, going back to what the president of Harding said, we try to focus. We met with Elder Beheshti, who is an area authority here in Searcy a few state conferences ago with our state president. And he encouraged us. He said, these youth have more desire to serve today than they have ever in their life, or ever in history. These youth today are just more inclined to serve because they love greater than anybody else. And so our state president encouraged us to have at least one service opportunity with them a month in one of our Wednesday night activities. And so we've tried to take that to heart. We've gone over to the International Horizons and done the food baskets twice now. We've been trying. There's a lot of good opportunities on JustServe the hospice people. There's lawn care for hospice on there where we can go mow lawns for people who are on hospice care that can't get out and mow their own lawns.
Oh, wow.
That's a great opportunity for the young men around. There's so many opportunities on JustServe to help these young men to understand why we serve. Because it benefits us more than it usually benefits the person that we're serving when we do it. And so that's something we try to reemphasize to them constantly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Daniel, anything else, principle, concept, story that we need to make sure we fit in here before we wrap up?
I think that JustServe is an awesome opportunity for us, especially here in the South where it's still fresh and new and people don't know about it, for us to get out in the community and let people know that we are Christian, first off, and that we only have a desire to help everybody around us come closer to Christ and invite all to come into Christ. And so I think it's just an awesome opportunity that we need to take advantage of. The church has put a lot of money and effort into the JustServe website, and I think it's an important tool. I listened to a training by Elder Lindsey Robbins that talks about, there's no role in the church that can't be covered in the JustServe website. It used to be the threefold mission of the church, but it's not. There's 4 of them now, but you can go through all of them and you can hit every one of those in the JustServe website. Even the redeeming or bringing families together for eternity one can be done by the Billion Graves on JustServe, going out and taking pictures of headstones to get information for families that need information on their loved ones that have passed. And so every aspect of the gospel is focused on JustServe. And so we need to use it in whatever calling we have in the church. It's a great opportunity for us.
Awesome. Well, I love hearing from wards in your part of the world, of the or in the country where you're not on the Wasatch Front, and it's a completely different dynamic, and so it's fun to learn from that. Last question I have for you, Daniel, is as you reflect on your time as a leader, how has being a leader helped you become a better follower of Jesus Christ?
Oh, in every aspect, has being a leader helped me become a better follower of Jesus Christ. I think constantly on the Elder Eyring, President Eyring actually talked about it in a talk too, but it's talked about more in detail in his biography about when he was serving as a bishop, and one of his at Stanford, and one of his members of his ward that was a recent convert drove the car to the bank and got out, put his hands up as, security surrounded him, and he's like, "Don't shoot, I'm Mormon," and so they called Bishop Eyring at the time. Was like, "Hey, we got one of your guys down here. You need to come get him." And he talked to him. He's like, "Just meet me at the church." And President Eyring's talking, on the way over there, I'm just thinking about how I'm going to read him the right act. Me and him are going to have a come to Jesus meeting. This is not how a member of the Church of Jesus Christ presents himself, and this, that, and the other. And he says he sat down in the bishop's office, and that brother walked in. His eyes completely changed. His mind completely changed. He saw that brother the way that Jesus Christ sees him. And so I try to do that, and as I lead these people here in the Searcy Ward, and try to see them as Jesus Christ sees them. As I see them as Jesus Christ sees them, my love for them has increased, my compassion for them has increased, my desire to serve them has increased. And so I become a better follower of Jesus Christ through that, because I can see them how he sees them. And that's a great perspective to see things.